about the zoning regulation change.
Yep.
And there are people who are here to talk about the 280 Branford Road.
Okay.
And the 723 Totoket Road, nobody's going to be here. I'll address that.
Very good. Okay. Good evening. I'd like to call to order North Branford Planning and Zoning meeting. It's not working.
Can you put the agenda in the I don't know.
Okay. We've got the some feedback.
I was running around my kids to Thank you.
I should get the right one.
Here, Trish.
Good. Running around. I was in 3 different buildings tonight for the sports. I have no paperwork.
Technical difficulty. We have the audio, just don't have the
Video.
and we have the video, no audio.
What do kids do?
We don't have audio.
My son is this.
Yeah, great.
She's like,
Here we go. Good evening. I'd like to call to order the North Branford Planning and Zoning regular meeting, January 4th, 2024. Happy New Year, everyone. Can you please rise and salute the flag with us? Thank you. Pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this point, I'd like to introduce the commission members seated here tonight. To my immediate left is Ron Sienna, regular member. To his left is Trish Mace, regular member. And to her left is Paul Morano, regular member. To my far right is Janet Craner, retorting secretary. And at the administrative table, I'm sorry?
Not a regular.
She's a regular recording.
Regular recording member. Secretary. One of the paid members of the commission. Only 2 paid. And then at the administrative table today is David Perkins, our town planner. My name is Robert Noack. I'm the chairman tonight for the Planning and Zoning Commission. Next order of business is to consider approval of minutes from December 14th. Unfortunately, there's not enough members that were present at that meeting to have a quorum to approve these minutes. I'd like to make note that in the December 14th meeting, the meeting minutes from October 19th were tabled, were continued.
Yes.
To continue, so we need to add that to the next agenda. Okay. Moving on, next order of business is a public hearing and possible action for application 2023-18, amendment to the zoning regulations. It's a continuation of the public hearing we had last meeting in December. What I'd like to do is kind of lay out the rules of the statement. I'd like to make an opening statement relative to the public hearing. The purpose of the hearing is to hear all pertinent testimony in support of and in opposition to the application before the commission. Public hearing will be open, testimony will be heard in the following order. I'm going to explain the proposal project, which already happened. Previously, last month, the staff and commission had questions and comments. It is our proposal general public have opportunity to speak in support of and opposition to the request. When addressing the commission, please come up to the microphone and begin by stating your name and address. When all sides have spoken, the public hearing will be closed. No further public discussion will be entertained. After the public hearing is closed, the commission will vote on the request. The one question I have, Dave, is did we read and do we need to read the text amendment into the record? Okay, so we'll attach that to the meeting once we finish it?
Yes.
Okay. We have a letter from the South Central Connecticut Regional Planning Commission. It states, thank you for sharing the proposed zoning regulation text amendment. The Regional Planning Commission reviewed the withdrawal at its meeting on Thursday, December 14, 2023. By resolution, the Regional Planning Commission has determined that the proposal zoning regulation text amendment does not appear to cause any negative intermunicipal impacts to the towns in the South Central region, nor does there appear to be any impacts to the habitat or ecosystem of Long Island Sound. Furthermore, the proposed regulations align with the Regional Plan of Conservation and Development by both supporting housing development in the areas with supporting infrastructure by encouraging the diversity of the region's housing stock. That was dated December 18, 2023. We received also, before I open the public hearing, we received a letter from SLR International Corporation dated January 3rd, 2024. There's 4 bullets. Should I read through this, Dave? Or should I read
I
this?
think they're here to make a presentation and they
Okay,
can
so we'll let them
probably
speak.
summarize it.
Okay. So with that being said, I'd like to open a public hearing for those in support of the text amendment proposed by the Zoning Commission. Please come up, state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Commission. My name is Mark Forlenza, and I'm with the Belfontes Companies. We're here to present just a few comments on the text amendment that you're considering tonight. Just a couple of things. The first thing is we appreciate you actually taking it upon yourselves to do this amendment. We think this is a great thing in compliance with your plan of development. And we were before you maybe a couple of years ago trying to do something similar. So thank you for doing this. We do appreciate it. We do have just a couple of comments on the text that you have proposed that you have before you. And that's why we hired SLR to have their planning department prepare just a couple of comments for your consideration. So one of the principals of SLR, John Milone, is going to present this planning memo that was done by their planning department. And again, thank you.
Rob,
Thank you. Thank you, Mark. My name is John Milone. I'm a professional engineer in the state of Connecticut. I'm here on behalf of our firm, but our memorandum was prepared by Vince McDermott, who's a senior planner in our firm, a AICP senior planner. You have the memorandum, I think, in your possession, so I'm just going to summarize it very briefly. As Mark said, we did this on behalf of Belfonte Associates, who has a property that would possibly be under consideration if this were approved. We support this amendment to your regulations. We feel it's consistent with your plan of development and it does provide for more diversity in housing, which is something the plan of development was supportive of. So as Mark said, we also commend you on moving forward. We just have a couple of minor comments or suggestions that might consider as you go through this. First of all, we recognize that it's a 2-step process. The first step being an amendment of the zoning map, followed by a special use permit application, which would include a site plan and more detailed information. We ask you to consider adding schematic architecture as part of the first phase of the process, of the amendment process, and I'll explain why we think that would be helpful in a minute in our next comment. That has to do with the section in your proposed regulation having to do with building height. For that, we suggest two considerations. One is, as I just said, to address building height in step one. We think it's important that an applicant understands what would be acceptable in that regard relative to an application. So by presenting, as part of the conceptual site plan, their proposed building height information and some conceptual architecture, the commission would be in a position to decide if that area of concern, which you've identified in the regulation, is something that is addressable or manageable as part of the zoning process, rather than have the zone approved, have an applicant go back with a fairly detailed site plan with a lot of expense and a lot of effort, only to find that the height becomes an issue, and that could dramatically change an application. So we ask that you consider that as part of the zone change process. And in addition to that, you have a wording in the regulation where you can manage the height of the buildings either to 1 or 2 stories. We think that might be a little bit more confining than might be normal in a multifamily development. We ask you to consider maybe providing some provisions in there that you can ask for architectural elements or other features to address or minimize the impact of height, if that's still an issue as you look at it during the zone change process. So again, those are minor refinements to the application, which we think would make the process, I think, just be a little bit cleaner as you go through it, so you wouldn't get halfway through only to find that there's still a significant issue with a potential application. And then lastly, you do have a 50% impervious surface requirement, and that's reasonable, but maybe a little restrictive. We see that maybe it might be a few percent over that might be necessary particularly on a small site. And we understand that as the way the regulation's written, that pervious pavers or other features might not apply to that. We'd ask that you just make sure that's clear so that one could count on that being an opportunity for them as part of a design feature. Those are the only suggestions we have, so I'm happy to answer any questions.
You guys have any?
Thank you for
Thank you, John.
hearing our.
I'd just like to make just one more comment. Just in support of what John had just said. Since we're supportive of and we intend to use this floating zone on one of our piece of properties, I just want to speak from our perspective. If you make these changes as we suggest at the zone change application, we then can provide you with evidence and debate about what is appropriate for height at that time. And if you do not support what we're saying, then you just wouldn't apply, that zone to our property. To do it the other way, we would come and we would apply for a zone change amendment to the property, or we would apply for a map change. We would then follow it up with a site plan. We could get through the process halfway and then realize that, you don't agree with us on the height. And that just wastes a lot of time from our perspective, and probably hundreds of thousands of dollars from our perspective. So why we're suggesting the process to be like it is we file the map amendment. We will provide evidence that the height of 45 feet is sufficient for this property. That's why we included the architecture. At that time, you can make a determination to put the overlay zone over that property if you agree with us. If you don't agree with us, you don't put it over, and then we all go home, as opposed to having us have a two-step process and then find down the road that you don't agree with our position with respect to height. That would save months and hundreds of thousands of dollars for us. That's why we want to structure it like that, and that's really all we're asking. And so thank you again. I just want to clarify it just a little bit more.
Okay, thank you, Mark. Would anybody else like to speak in favor of the proposed text amendment?
Hi, I'm Liz Kaplan, 33 Maltby Lane. I'm the chair of Economic Development. Happy New Year, everybody. I did come to the December meeting along with a few members of the Economic Development Commission, and I did read a letter which should be in your packets as far as that goes. So I just wanted to just reiterate, there is a letter there that the Economic Development Commission does support this, overlay zone change, and we thank you for your due diligence in this process. Thank you.
Thanks, Liz. Would anybody else like to speak in favor of our text amendment? Anyone else? Hearing none. Anybody opposed to the text amendment proposed to the town? Anyone opposed? Anyone opposed? Okay, hearing none. I'd like to entertain a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Public hearing is now closed. In light of the new suggestions, go ahead,
Who made the motion?
Liz? Yeah. In light of the new, in light of some suggestions proposed by the Belafonte Corporation and Liz's suggestion in favor of it, I think it'd be a good idea that the commission take some additional time and continue this text amendment until the next meeting. I'll entertain a motion to continue this to the next meeting.
I make a motion to continue application 2023-18 to the next meeting on, I don't know when. The
18th?
18th?
18th.
18th. I could add.
Can we have a motion second?
Second.
Okay, motion second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 4-0. So we're going to continue this text amendment discussion in the next meeting. So thank you very much for coming today, for your support of our text amendment. Thank you very much. With that being said, we'll move on to item B, 2023-19723, Tutucket Road. The applicant is not here, and our town planner will now take the reins and explain what the situation is.
So I gave you a report, staff report, and I did review the application yesterday. I'm not quite sure why I didn't really see it until then, but I looked at it, and you need, for the interior lot, you need 60,000 square feet of lot area for the rear lot. And this lot has 58,000 plus, so they don't meet the requirements of the subdivision regulations. The front lot's okay, it's 40,000 square feet, it has the frontage. Unfortunately, you can't just divide this lot into an interior lot and a front lot and meet the requirements. The plan also doesn't really show the square of the lot, it doesn't show the setback lines, it doesn't show proposed driveways, it doesn't show impermeable areas, it doesn't show the rear line buffer area. The plan is basically incomplete and doesn't comply with the regulations. I did talk to the applicant this morning who thought he was applying for a variance, but he obviously applied for a subdivision, not a variance.
Right.
I'm not sure that he can get a variance. He plans on trying to get a variance to split the lots, and then he would come back and apply again. So I would recommend that you just deny it without prejudice, and if he comes back, we can use the same fees so he doesn't have to pay twice. And it's a difficult road to go through to get a variance.
Okay.
So that's my recommendation.
Any questions or concerns from the commission?
No.
All right. So I'll entertain a motion to deny without prejudice the application 2023-19723 Tutucket Road.
I make a motion to deny without prejudice, application 2023-19. 723 Tutucket Road.
Very good. We have a motion second?
Second.
Second by Ron. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries to deny the application 2023-19-723. All right, old business. Next item on the agenda, request for a new street number at Chicarelli's Harris Hill Farm on Middletown Avenue to be known as 1591 Middletown Avenue.
So this is the lot behind the Mill Pond Tavern, the cornfield,
Yep.
and it's currently known as 0 Middletown Avenue. And they'd like to have a real number, so for public health purposes, when they say there's a problem and they're at 1591 Middletown Avenue, everybody knows what that means.
Okay. So you're looking from the commission to have a
The
motion to-
regulation says that you guys get to do street numbers.
Yes.
Do we want to do street numbers? Can't be 0.
Done, yeah.
The question is, it's been like that for so long, what's changed?
Well, they've had more activity up there than they've had in the past, and it's
Been
just,
there for like 100 years.
Right. Yep.
What's changed?
nothing's changed.
Concern. How is it listed on the tax rolls? It's got to have a number.
0 Middletown Avenue.
Oh, okay.
And there are a lot of those around town, empty lots and back lots that are just,
Okay. But there's still access to 1591, right? Obviously it goes through.
well, there's no mailbox, so there's no real need for a mailing address.
Correct.
You know, they've done some activities up there.
I'm aware of that, yes. Yeah.
So from a safety point of view, they should have a number.
Yeah.
I just, maybe we should revisit this when we have a full commission.
I don't know if that's necessary. I think it would be all right. Just,
We've done numbers
it's a group effort, so what do you guys think?
We've done numbers in the past, and they're pretty benign.
Are there other 0 Middletown Avenues?
What?
I mean, that particular lot is 0 Middletown Avenue. Middletown Avenue is long in Northford. Are there other properties that are labeled 0 Middletown Avenue?
Oh, yeah.
Matter of fact, if I remember correctly, we also did something on Middletown Avenue not too long ago. I think it was last year before, Paul, you were here. Similar situation. There wasn't a number assigned to the property.
They're all over the place. It's not unusual that a vacant property doesn't have an address because it doesn't have a need for a mailing or.
Does it even have access to?
I believe it's
Middletown
through the driveway to the
Landlocked,
Tavern.
is it?
That's how you gain access there now, is through that, across the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge over,
Okay, so it seems it's like a landlocked piece of property right now. Has no driveway to Middletown. So is there an easement?
I think there's
Right away?
there's an easement by implication at least.
So those people are on the application also to put a number in?
There's no requirement. The request is simply to label the property with a number. It has no
Everything
connotations
else falls after.
about use
It's
or.
odd that it would pop up out of nowhere, so.
Then everything else will fall into place after that, Paul, for any of our questions for development or anything associated with the property, then we know where it is.
How did we choose 1591? That, you just chose it? I'm always curious.
With the assessor, yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know, so do we pick out of the hat?
No, no, it's logical.
Somehow has to fall,
It's
yeah, the
it's
other one.
logical, yeah.
Any other comments, questions? Ron, you're contemplating?
oh yeah, there's a lot of concept. How many acres is that in the back? I know they farm it. It seems like a pretty,
30, maybe?
I have no
it's a
idea.
pretty
It's gotta
good
be-
chunk of property.
It's significant.
Yeah. And access is on a 25-foot right-of-way. I assume it's a right-of-way.
I believe it's 62.5 acres,
Okay.
if I'm correct. Most likely I am. Just.
So the development wouldn't be an issue because it's access, I mean, you can't even cut a road in on 25 feet, right? It's
Well,
gotta be 50.
When he comes in front of us, we'll know what he's talking about. 1591, oh, we know where you live. We know what you want to
Is he
develop
here, is
over there
anybody here
versus
from
zero.
that? Is anybody out there from?
No, it's not for public, not a public hearing. And it's not an application, it's just assigning a
Where did
street
it come from?
address.
The town just decided to pick a property?
The property owner.
Oh, the property, all right.
He wanted to, he brings it to us and says, hey, I want to be identified now instead of being
He's not here.
non-binary, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
He wants to be identified as something now.
We can find him after 100 years.
Yeah,
There he is.
exactly. Right, so it's a process, Paul, so I'm assuming the next step would be, hey, I'm gonna do this, maybe. But now we can locate where 1591 is versus
Nothing's been put
zero.
in play as what, anybody's put anything up for that property to propose anything, right?
No,
This guy came and said, I want an address.
there were some hay rides there this fall. I
Yeah.
think there was maize there, there was some activity there.
And so people could find it.
And I think the question was more emergency
Yeah.
action.
Especially if there's other zero Middletown Avenues, which one do they go to if there's an emergency? Yeah.
Yeah.
Liability too, Paul. If you're gonna have hay rides, insurance, you need blah, 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 all the other everything that goes along with that public input on your property, so it makes sense. So if we're all comfortable with it, that's all right, Paul? I mean, you would be okay with it, like that?
I'll abstain from any voting in that one. For now, until we get a little bit more on my end.
Okay.
I just,
I'm good.
Then I'll entertain a motion to accept the address at 1591 Middleton Avenue.
I make a motion to accept the request for a new street number at Ceccarelli's Harrison Hill Farm on Middletown Avenue to be known as 1591 Middletown Avenue.
We have a motion, have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Okay. Motion carries 3-1. So, like I said, let it be written, 1591 now exists. New business, item 6, application 2023-21, 280 Branford Road, B2 zone. It's application for request for section 23 or section A, line C-1 to operate a liquor store in building number 1, formerly IGA store, including renovation to the building exterior lot and minor modifications to the parking lot. Owner JSN Properties LLC applicant, ABS LLC, Bell agent. Is the applicant here? Would you mind coming up and state your name and address for us and tell us about your project?
You didn't bring your own tripod?
Not just I'm used.
You like the antique, huh?
Yeah, well, you know, I brought mine last time and then it was, you know, I ended up fumbling with it, so. Good evening, my name is Jim Galligan. I'm from Nafelson Young Engineers. We're at 1355 Middletown Avenue, right in Northford. And I represent the application in front of you tonight. The subject parcel is 280 North Branford Road, but it's more likely known as Central Plaza. The applicant tonight has a place of business on the subject parcel, and he wants to move to a different location. Right now, his business is in that on the right-hand side after you go past McDonald's, and he's going to move into the place where IGA used to be. This is his existing location over here on the right-hand side. He's going to come in and occupy the old Rite Aid, the old IGA parcel. In talking with Dave, he's asked for a couple of modifications to the site. There's 4 street trees that are proposed, because the ones that were there are now long gone. And there's a couple of parking spaces that are going to be added in the back to be able to meet the zoning regulations or requirements. It was okay, I could use it. I do have, you don't mind if I wing this a little bit. Do have some renderings of what they're intending to do, some outside improvements and some interior improvements for the store, and are actively looking to be able to move into the new location. The reason why we're here is because with the change of use, I need to present in front of you, and that's the purpose of the application tonight.
Did they buy the building?
I'm sorry?
Did they buy the building?
No. No, the parcel owner of Central Plaza still owns the buildings and the site, and they have a lease for the building, for that section of the building.
You're gonna change the facade as well? It looks awesome.
I'm sorry?
That's the new, okay, that's your proposed? Excellent.
Yeah, the applicant owns Town Line Liquors over there by, what's it called now? The one in Northford Center. I still call it Agway. I forget what it's called.
I think the facade in the front is really attractive and fits into the town's character.
Yeah, that's the goal, is to try. If you look at both of his other facilities, they're done a lot. The one in Northford Center, they've done a lot in that plaza there to make it look better, and obviously the one over by Dalton's is another place that looks great. It's got great curb appeal. They take good care of their properties. They're a good resident, a good client, a good customer.
No, this isn't adding a new liquor store.
No,
The other one will be abandoned, and this one.
Right, they're gonna move from the one with the curved roof. There's the one to the right-hand side of after you go past McDonald's, and they're gonna move it to the piece in the back.
Mm-hmm. No, I was just thinking of I think there's a state regulation, you can only have so many
Correct.
liquor stores per population.
So they'll be moving that liquor license
Yeah,
from
they have their
current store to the IGA.
Yeah, they have an existing liquor license in this building here, for the use in this building here. They're just gonna change it over to this building here.
Commissioner, have any questions, concerns?
Can you talk about the restriping the parking lot, or talk about parking a little bit?
Okay, there's, let me switch to this page. Oh, now I know what you're talking about, Dave.
Oh, you broke it.
Oh, that's it.
I just talked to the finance director to authorize purchase of a new easel.
I give you mine, but it won't work any better than this one.
That's not on our budget, and if it is, we'd have to go up with the taxes.
The parking is, so they're gonna redo some striping in this area here. They're also gonna put some shielding lighting so that you're compliant with dark skies lighting along the parking area. The striping in this area needs to be redone. The trees are going to be redone in here. There's also a couple of extra handicap spaces that are going to be added over in this here to be compliant with the count. So they're going to try and dress up that corner there and make it attractive.
This is adding more parking spaces?
It's difficult to tell how many parking spaces are in the plaza
Yes.
to start with, much less the way they're designed. And the owner of the plaza is somewhat obstinate in terms of requests for information from the town planner and sort of cleaning up the whole plaza because it is a bit of a mess. So this is an improvement that we're working on, and the applicant is paying for all these improvements himself without any help from the landlord. And the landlord sort of says, do it your way or do it.
Oh, it's leave it or take it.
Yeah, right, I was gonna say take it or leave it, but it is leave it or take it.
Yeah.
And the actual cost of those individual parts is being discussed with the property owner as we speak.
Okay.
There are some current issues over there that the land use department's dealing with.
Like what?
There's an open manhole cover, there's some grates that are missing, there's parking that's mislabeled, there's signs that are wrong, I mean, it's just a total mess, and to try to hold up this project to say, fix the whole plaza isn't in our best interest. At the same time, we gotta do something at some point, because now that the Rite Aid is gone, you've got another empty spot. You've got the new central, bar that seems to be doing well. And I mean, we'd like to see the plaza come back to life, and this may be a very good start. So dealing with the parking situation and how many parking spaces it needs, it seems to me that there's a lot of parking.
Yeah, there's a lot of shared parking going on in the.
Oh, no, I'm just referring to there's a couple of restaurants in there also.
Yeah.
And when there's more than one event going on, parking is at a premium.
Yeah. That's what I mean, Ron. There's some shared parking going on.
So there will be new parking to the railroad track side of the building.
Down here.
That will be more specific for the liquor store.
Yeah, it'll be specific for the liquor store.
We don't require a lighting plan from the applicant?
There are a couple, you address the lighting.
Yeah, there's some lighting along the existing building. That's why I said there's some of the lighting has just been changed. The lighting that's there is all going to be getting the shields, the Dark Skies Initiative shields. So the lighting is down lighting, and will be adequate for all this area in here. Yeah, and there's lighting on the far edge of the parking area, adjacent to the railroad tracks.
Okay.
And they'll have the same down skies,
Yeah.
down lighting, dark skies down lighting.
Understood. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
No, I think it's great. I was just in there the other day, for the Dinner of Champions, running children around to sports McDonald's, and I was like, it's just so unattractive in there. I'm like, I was just thinking, like, what is going to go in here? What can, like, something needs to be done, and it was great.
When are you gonna finish?
We're gonna try as soon as possible. It's the economy is not helping right now. The interest rates are so high. No help from landlord, and especially like when you don't own a building, it's quite a bit hard to finish any project, and that's where we are running into a lot of issues. But we started, so we're gonna finish it. That's the goal. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. Okay.
Hopefully within this year.
Well, we wish you luck with that one. So with that being said, I don't have any, Dave, any more comments, questions?
I think it's a great proposal.
Okay, so I think we're ready for a motion for the application.
I make a motion to approve application 2023-21, 280 Branford Road.
Dave, was there any comments? Did he address all your, I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine, yeah.
Was there any additional stuff?
There was
associated?
no staff reports. I think I do have a motion here that has no major conditions.
Okay, awesome.
Can I
later, yeah, rewind.
Darn, I thought I was getting away with saying last. Never. All right, ready?
Thank you, sir.
I move to approve planning and zoning application 2023-21, site plan request under section 23, Schedule A, use C1 to operate a liquor store in building number 1, former IGA store, including renovations to building, exterior lighting, and minor modifications to the parking lot at 280 Branford Avenue. Assessors map 12, lot 68, zone B2, owner JSM Properties LLC, applicant BVS LLC. As contained in submitted application documents and shown on the following plans / specifications. Property located at Central Plaza, 280 Branford Road, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by Noffice and Young Engineers, Inc. Parking plan for liquor store dated December 5th, 2023. And then Tadline Wine and Spirits, 280 Branford Road, North Branford, Connecticut, prepared by JF Design and Associates, containing the following sheets: sheet SK1, sheet SK2, sheet SK3, sheet SK4, sheet A1, sheet A2, and with the following standard conditions, number 2. There are no special conditions so far.
Okay. Thank you, Trish. We have a second on the motion? Second. Okay. Any discussion? Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained? Motion carries. Good luck with your move and renovation.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Literally was just there the other night, like, something's gotta be done. What did that happen with the lotto? I don't win the lotto.
Landlord of that place hit the lotto. He doesn't want to spend any money.
You're gonna have to pay half of it.
Yeah, I asked him if he wanted to go fund me.
Probably thousands of dollars.
Thank you again.
The next order of business is other business zoning regulation updates.
You know, there is one regulation that has been, I've been missing. Public Act 23-142 does not, a municipality may not subject the operation of a licensed group child daycare located in a residence to any conditions other than those imposed by the commissioner pursuant to this subsection, if the group child care complies with all codes and ordinance applicable to single and multifamily dwellings. So basically, we can't regulate group child daycare homes, which we currently do. So I've written up some regulations that basically eliminate our regulations about child daycare homes.
That's interesting.
But as long, bless you.
God bless you. Okay, so that's in the works?
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's a state mandate, and they're after us to make sure we change our regulations.
But they comply, as long as they comply with the state stuff.
We're good, we'll just change them.
Yeah.
I'll send it to Scrog and get it in the works, and we'll get it on the agenda.
Very good. Okay. So
The only other thing I would sort of look at is the interior lot regulation, and you should probably just review it. But the interior lot regulation says that in any subdivision, 1 lot out of 5 can be an interior lot. So basically, you get 4 lots with a front and 1 lot interior. And the regulations go on and on about that. And then the last paragraph says, but if you just want to have an interior lot, that's fine. And here's the requirement for that. So basically, the 1 out of 5 is thrown out the window,
it negates it.
which is why we have so many interior lots all around town. I mean, there's a ton of them. And I think the regulation was changed to allow interior lots as of right because of the mountains on this side of the hills, and you can't sort of get roads, and it just sort of makes sense with our topography to allow more interior lots for development as you go up the hills on the east and the west.
Sure.
But when they wrote that regulation, they forgot to throw out the older regulation, which is not uncommon.
So we just need to clean it up a little bit.
Correct.
Okay. Well, you're earning your keep, Dave. We appreciate it.
Well, it's been a year now,
Well, I mean,
and I think we've done a lot in a year.
yeah, the recap of 2023, I think we took care of, I don't know, pretty close to 10 regulations. Most of them, some of them
And
mandated
the
by.
bylaw.
Yep, the bylaws. So, with that being said, I'd like to set an agenda for 2024. So I just jotted down some things, was the multifamily housing district. Way back when, I think in the spring, Dave had a hit list for us in 2023. One of them was the signs, the little wavy ones and the board signs. We never really kind of closed that up. We had conversations about, Dave also brought up the zoning, bulk zoning standards could be modified a little bit and changed in certain ways. We didn't really get that off the table. Maybe we can bring that forward. Cannabis, we need to take care of that. Building fee schedule, we were working towards trying to get that done based on the small. Last year, we're working on fee schedules across the entire region, I guess, and kind of come up with updating our fee schedule to be more in line with surrounding towns. Solar fields was one that power plants, as Ron likes to call it, that we didn't really, we have kind of threw it aside, but we have commercial, residential, and commercial can be on roofs now as well in some places. And then last but not least is Route 80 zone changes. We talked about kind of making Route 80 more B1, B2, kind of moving the R40s out, and working through making those changes. I think would be just at a kind of a goals and consideration that we should consider, just as a matter of fact. So Route 80 zoning changes brings me into a conversation with Economic Development Commission. We had Liz was here from the chairman from that commission. We met with them last year. The assistant town manager reached out to me, and we're going to move forward with another meeting with the EDC in cooperation with Dave and the town manager and us to kind of put our heads together, see where we could make some fundamental changes that would help economic development within the town from our changes and in cooperation with the EDC. So that's kind of my goals and consideration for 2024 under the zoning regs. EDC, cannabis. Dave, town planners report, number 8.
We're
I'm sorry.
What?
I
Go ahead.
just wanted to bring up.
You want to add something? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
I'm assuming just other business. I do the SCROG meetings, but just because of my kid's schedule, I'm not able to go to many of them. So I just wanted to be transparent about that. And if you guys are continuing, if you guys are fine with that, fine. If somebody else wants to be, I don't even know, what am I on
You're
that?
the liaison.
Oh, if somebody else wants to be the liaison, because there are 5:15.
I think your name is on this letter, actually.
Yes, it is. I think there are 5:15 one Thursday a month, but just often with my kid's schedule, I just can't go game. I mean, if you guys don't mind me not being there a lot, then my name could be there, but if we want more information and want one of us there, I have no problem changing, but I've been meaning to put that out there for a while, but just not many brain cells left.
Thank you, Tricia. Appreciate you bringing it up, because basically the town has a list of all the boards and commissions, and there's no one listed under officially for planning and zoning representative for the SCROG.
Oh, I've been here for literally 7 years.
Yeah,
That's
there's-
it.
No one
That's
ever
just
re-upped you to put your name in there, so.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I have no problem doing it, and I do it when I can, as long as, We don't care
And
that I'm not.
secondly,
getting
is
for
supposed to
payment.
be our annual meeting also is charged with assigning someone for the inland wetlands and two, the SCROG.
Oh,
So we had that meeting, so maybe we can chew it amongst ourselves, see what
Yeah.
Barry or Paul or,
I'm indifferent.
who wants to do it, and we'll put it in and we'll vote on it, and Dave will
It's
submit
not,
it to
it's
the town.
not demanding, it's just I feel bad that I often can't go and,
Mostly Zooms, right? There's hybrid.
it's hybrid and it's really, unless something is horribly horrible for the environment, most things are just recommend.
Right.
Like I said, I feel bad. I want to let you guys know, I haven't been able to go in forever. And often enough when I am going, it's like I'm standing on the practice field, multitasking.
Gotcha.
But, yep, to be continued.
Okay.
And
Thank you.
it is when you made a regulation change, you used to have to notify all the abutting towns about a regulation change so the commissions would find out.
Mhm.
You don't have to do that anymore. You just send it to SCROG,
it's
and
just-
you guys, as that commission, hear it, and
Yeah.
that way you can report back to us about what's going on in the other towns.
Yeah,
So that's the mission, was to try to slow down that, just notifying the other town and letting them worry about it, rather than having a possible discussion amongst the whole region.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Tricia. I
Mhm.
appreciate it. Dave, do you want to talk or speak to the North Branford Road Safety Audit that came up?
The North Branford Road Safety Audit, I have not gotten any comments. I need to reply back to them with comments. If you looked at it closely, one of their recommendations was to take Middletown Avenue and Forest and combine them at the gas station,
I can't picture.
move the traffic light to the south and actually eliminate the gas station on the peninsula,
Oh, wow.
which seemed like a pretty major deal to me.
I can't even picture that, but I'm bad at
There's a
this.
roundabout there, but why would you eliminate?
Well, this one, they just have a turn, they just have an intersection going right through the middle of the gas station.
Well,
And they recommend we buy the gas station and destroy it, which seems like something we don't really want to do. Piggybacking on that, we have received a grant from South Central Regional Council of Governments to study the Northford Center in more detail. We had a kickoff meeting with the consultant BL companies, I believe it is, 10 days ago or so to get a scope of work. So we're working on a scope of work. We should have that probably in the next 10 days or so. We have to forward that to the DOT and get it blessed by the DOT, and then we can start working on the grant. It's a 2-year, $50,000 grant each year, so it's a total of $100,000. We've talked about that sort of spur road that would go from Mansfield to Forest, or at least from Ardsley to Forest, and create a sense of community inside of there. The consultant for BL companies is a resident of North Branford. That's a real plus. I'm really excited about making a plan that's going to be something we can fulfill, as opposed to just another study that reiterates what we've done for the last 30
There needs to be, we
years.
studied it, there needs to be a change.
Yeah, we want more engineering, we want more guts to it so that we can apply for a community connection grant and actually implement the plan. But I'm really excited.
I was gonna ask that very question exactly the way you described it. Because that was one of your hits that you sent to us of what you drafted for the SCROG for a Unified Plan Work Program Study. So we're gonna get another study. I was trying to read through your notes, just trying to, we got one study from this company,
We got the road safety audit.
Yep, and now
From
you're
the
gonna
state.
have BL put together another more comprehensive plan. They try to take the 2006 and the 2023 suggestion and kind of bring it together?
Correct.
Okay.
And actually get more detail into it, more engineering, more practicality, more
Yeah.
costs, more oomph rather than just flowery language.
Yeah.
What was
could
missing?
happen.
What was missing from, in the 2006 study, they looked at also the 150 and 22 intersection at the angle. Is that any part of the dialogue in
No.
this? Okay, so just focus on this and kind of leave that for the state to
Correct.
kind of figure it out. One of the comments on page 13 of that was clarify North Branford firehouse lighting. Is that a concern? Was there an issue with that? And from the, they didn't really make mention of it in detail, other than the fact that there needs to be better lighting, and I don't understand what that meant, whether it be a safety concern for the fire truck to get out of it, or was there lighting necessary to illuminate it, or it was confusing, like, well, is that a safety issue? It says it needs more lighting?
Well, now I have a good comment.
Do they control that? Can they control that stoplight right there, or no? Was that it?
Well, I don't think it's possible right now. Well, I don't know I believe the fire truck, each and every fire truck, and I think in our town, the fire trucks have an emitter. And on every traffic signal, you'll see a little black box with a little point on it, looks like that. And the emitter hits the box and tells the computer in the traffic signal to change the direction to green when it gets when the emergency vehicle, both the ambulance and fire trucks, are going in that direction, and it changes them to get there. Some firehouses have stop lights, red lights.
Yeah.
Where, stop, the fire truck comes in and out, backs in, that kind of thing. And maybe he was alluding to that, but it's so close to the intersection, I don't know. So that was one of my comments. Was there a further timeline, Dave, associated with the funding, the studies? Can we have some kind of sequence of at what point in time we could have something in hand? And then what's the process after that? Is the town required to, I'm assuming the town has to put up some money for the actual construction when it comes to that, for sidewalks, if I believe correctly. Most towns, when it comes to sidewalks, if they don't have it, the town has to pay to put them in. The state doesn't pay for sidewalks unless the sidewalks are pre-existing. That was one of my questions, but it's further down the road at this point in time.
Right, so the road safety audit is done. We just need to sign off on it. And then it will get passed from the consultant back to the state, and they'll accept it, and we'll have a road safety audit report.
Okay.
The grant we're just starting on now, we're just getting the scope of service. It's a 2-year grant, but it's probably gonna be a 3-year grant. By the time we start, it's gonna be July of 2024, so it's gonna go to July of 2026. And hopefully the outcome will be material that will allow us to apply for a community development grant of anywhere from $800,000 to $2 million to build the sidewalks.
Okay, that answers my question. Okay, that takes it for that one. Thank you, David, appreciate your input. If you want to cut me in on any of that conversation, I'd really love it.
We're just starting, so there's gonna be lots of community outreach, and it's gonna be a great program.
Okay, awesome. I'm also very excited. It's one of my goals since getting on this commission to do something up there.
Right.
The other thing, I want to back up a little bit. The frustration from the Central Plaza appearance and all the deficiencies, I'll call them, right? There isn't any zoning, because we talked about fines or anything, that there's nothing, no such thing can be applied to the property owner to improve the property at all?
So there's a state statute that allows, by ordinance, the ability to give tickets for zoning violations. It's part of the blight process, it's also part of the wetlands process. It's something that we're gonna discuss. The town council's talking about the blight ordinance, and we're gonna talk about zoning violations and wetland violations at the same time, and whether we can actually do citations. It's not tickets, it's citations. So I can issue a citation, $100 a day for a zoning violation. So after a week, it's $500. And after 2 weeks, it's $1,000. And it's pretty nice to write a letter every 10 days and say, it's going up $1,000, what are you gonna do about it now? And you can actually assess those fines like traffic tickets. And then you can actually go and get a judgment. And if you get a judgment, they're gonna have to pay, $25 a week. What's the minimum that the judges sort of ordered you to pay? But at least it's a process.
There's something versus nothing.
Right, okay.
I mean, right now, he's sort of in violation of the site plan, and I don't have a whole lot of ammunition to make him do what he doesn't want to do. But with the fire marshal, there is an open manhole cover on the property right now, and he's been pretty responsive when there's like imminent danger.
Yeah, because he doesn't want to get sued.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
If, in a situation like that, do we have the ability to, like an open manhole, I mean, that's a major safety issue. Do we have the ability to, if the landlord isn't being responsive, to go in there, fix the problem, and here's your bill?
Back charge him?
Yeah.
I think we can do that. Billing them is always a little difficult, but we can certainly go in and just fix the problem. But we don't really like to do that.
Yeah, you'll never see your money.
I mean, typically what we've done is gone and put cones up and put stuff around it and taken care of the safety issue.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, there's a cone that's squished down inside of the manhole cover.
How long has this person owned it? Haven't they owned it forever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the blight, if we got a blight ordinance, that could help.
Be some ammunition for your efforts.
Correct.
Instead of here's a ticket kicker. Then you don't really accomplish anything, so understood. I don't have anything else other than a fact. Did you guys ever get the bylaws? Do you want a copy of the bylaws?
Aren't they an email?
Yeah, I think we had the bylaws were sent out, but we can do it again.
I don't remember seeing it, but I printed them out.
I'll take
Always like to
email.
be paired.
You're always
Oh, you
very
got an extra
prepared.
copy?
I have, here you go. There's 3. Anything else, Dave?
No, thank you.
You good?
I'm good.
Janet, would you like to say anything?
With the bylaws,
Yes, sir.
I mean, the last time we addressed these were 50 years ago. Should this be something we address? Should it be on your list to be looked at yearly, or?
It's in the bylaws.
Oh, it's in the bylaws?
All right.
It's in.
You don't know them by heart?
That's why we gave you a copy to read it and study it. So it'll be a quiz next
You're supposed to read that every night before bed.
I have, the original copy, the
1974?
it's, chipped in a rock.
So Ron, we have an annual meeting every October, first regular meeting of October, right? These bylaws reviewed and made part of the minutes of the regular meeting. So every year, let it be said, let it be written. We were very thorough when we put these together. The entire year it took us to do this. Were
Yes,
you there?
yeah, I was there.
Okay, I just want to double check. So if you'd like to make changes, we could have a conversation when the time comes later in the year,
Yeah.
or over the course of the year, if you like.
Yeah, Tricia and I were talking, we would like to see a raise.
Yep,
Ooh, wait a minute, let's
I
see,
agree.
compensation, we need to add another article.
inflation is real.
Under amendments, there you go. Fees, no, that's what other is, yeah. You mean the raise that you got last year wasn't enough, Ron?
It was 100%, wasn't it?
That's right.
Yes, it was.
And you're
Yeah,
demanding that.
I mean, we're on a roll. If it was doubled last year, I want it doubled again this year.
I want mine triple. I want 000.
No, I guess my questioning is, training. If training,
Good point.
if there's any fees involved with training, we don't have a budget. Or do we have anything in the budget?
Yes, we do have training in the budget for you guys, yes.
And speaking of that, are we all caught up? Yes. Just wondered.
I want to be on top of that training, that's it.
I don't have anything else. Anybody else have anything to offer, comment? Trish, thanks for making it. We appreciate your time.
Yes.
Making it through with the kids, dropping them off every
Oh
which
my
way.
God, it's hysterical.
Oh, good years, fun times.
I know.
Ron, so this leaves us to your agenda item, number 9.
Okay, I'm looking at our next meeting is January 18th. And although we joke about money, I want to thank everybody on the committee. Just let everyone out there in TV land know we are not paid for our time being here. Because I'm sure someone's going to say
The rumor, Ron started a rumor.
that they just got 100% raise.
Thank you for the clarification. We are
Yes.
not paid.
We are not paid,
volunteers.
and our salary is multiplied by 0.
Times 0
Times
to the
0.
square.
That being the case, I motion we adjourn.
I second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, motion carries. Thus concludes at 7:47, 43. Record, that's a record.
Yeah.